Hello, friends, and welcome to another episode in the Run Breiter Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Breiter, and I'm joined with my co-host,
Colleen Mock.
And we got a really exciting episode today. First of all, Colleen, how you doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
Things are good over here. You know, it's been nice to settle back into Cleveland for this full week. We were just down in Florida last week, actually. We did a turkey trot where Colleen over here had a very special turkey trot this past year. How'd you do there?
Thank you, Sam. I set a lifetime PR in the 5K. So, very happy with that. And I think it was perhaps my most official 5K time because it was on a USA Track and Field certified course, which is fun. So, yeah.
Yeah, it was the Tradition Turkey Trot 5K down in Port St. Lucie, Florida. We've done it the last 3 years. My family lives there, and we have a tradition of doing that race with them. So really cool experience to see Colleen get her personal best. It was a faster time than last year for me, so I'll take it. We both made it to the podium, so we brought home a special cup, right?
Yeah.
Engraved with our place for our age group. So really fun. But I want to get to today's program, which is a special episode where we did some homework prior to this episode, really some good brainstorming individually. The topic for today's episode is discussing 5 things we would have told a younger version of ourselves in regards to running, to really just prep us for the years that we have experienced in regards to running. I don't think this is to make us feel any sort of regret, but it's more to give you, the audience, if you are a beginner runner, someone who's really starting to take it seriously, things that can get you ahead of the game from some of the mental, physical, whatever sorts of trial and error mistakes that we had made. And listen, I think everyone's going to make mistakes when it comes to running at some point. But being that I've been running now for over 13 years and you've been running for how many years at this point? On and off for 7 or 8, right?
No, I ran in high school and I graduated high school 10 years ago.
It's a good point. On and off for around the same amount of time.
Years.
Am I? No.
You would be on and off for longer than me, but it's more than because you ran in.
I ran in middle school. Oh, I guess I have been. No, I'm sorry.
Your math was wrong.
I've been running since I'm old. I've been running for 18 years.
There we go. I was I'm 14, 15 years, but not longer than you. Yeah.
I took maybe 1 year off. So yeah, it's been a long time. Almost 20 years of running. So yeah, both of us have been running for a very long time. So we have definitely done a lot of things right, wrong, and in between. But yeah, we have 5 separate items. And I want to start with you, Colleen. What is one thing you would have told your younger self?
So I'm going to check my notes here.
You don't have this memorized? Kidding. Joke.
Well, this one's certainly specific to me for sure. I would certainly go back in time and tell my younger self, hey, you have a hole in your heart. Speak up about how hard running is for you and keep pushing when your concerns are brushed off by doctors. Your concerns and frustrations are valid and can be resolved once you find a cardiologist who will take you seriously. I think that the underlining point of advocating for yourself whenever something doesn't feel right is something that is certainly transferable to people who don't have holes in their hearts but might be experiencing other things. But I remember always feeling as though I was trying so hard and not being able to keep up with other people, whether that be whenever I was running cross country or whenever I was playing soccer or just hiking or whatever it was. And I always just felt like everyone else must be feeling that way and just secretly dealing with it better, whatever it was, because I'd just been told that everything was fine and that I was normal. So if you're out there and you genuinely feel like things are harder than you, than other people, physically go to a doctor, keep going to a doctor, try and get yourself taken seriously if you truly believe that things are not adding up, because I think that can make a lifetime of difference.
Yeah. Well said, Colleen. I'm going to go to mine here.
You don't have yours memorized?
I don't. Yeah, so my top one would be that not every mile is made the same.
Mm.
So I think when I first started running, I didn't view a 5K on a hilly course compared to a flat 5K on a track as any different race. And like saying it now, it sounds so silly, but there are runners that I coach who are new to the sport. And if you're listening to this and you're a runner and you're new to the sport, don't feel that you need to know this, right? But like if you are running in San Francisco in a hilly part of the neighborhood and your pace is 30 to 45 seconds slower per mile than in your flat neighborhood that you live in, or let's take another direction here, not just the elevation, but sometimes it's the temperature, right? Running outside on a 50-degree day on a track doing a speed workout, it's going to feel a heck of a lot easier than when it's 90 degrees or it's 10 degrees.
Mm-hmm.
Running when the air is clear and the quality of air is perfect compared to there's a ton of pollution because there's fires 100, 200 miles away from where you live and you're breathing in tough emissions. That's a factor. Or maybe there's a ton of personal life stress that you're dealing with and you have lack of sleep going on, your nutrition is imbalanced, and you don't have the right day. These are all variable factors that can affect the pace of a single mile that you run or the 10-mile long run that you did, whatever it might be. I think reflecting now, I'm so focused in my workouts on the effort that I'm putting in. And I can tell myself the story that, okay, if I wanted to run 8:30 per mile for 5 miles today, but I'm dealing with all this stuff or the conditions are terrible and it's 9 minutes, but I know that I put in the same amount of effort that I would normally put in on an 8:30 mile day, not marathon day, 8:30 per mile day, then I had a successful run or workout or whatever it might be. And so just something to consider because kind of goes to the topic of comparing yourself to other people. You might see someone who in a single year ran 2,000 miles and you have a hard time getting over 1,000 miles, but you might be playing 2 hours of pickleball on the side and going to the gym and all they're doing is running. Or you might be living in the mountains of Leadville, Colorado, and they're living in Columbus, Ohio, right? Every mile is not the same, and you have to like look at your situation and reflect and just accomplish what you want to accomplish on a specific day, week, month, year, whatever that might be. So that's my topic there.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. I mean, could you imagine like if whenever we went to do the incline, you're like, oh, it's only a mile. I can do this in like 7 minutes.
Yeah.
Like that would be just a world record pace for doing that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it's a very good point. My next thing that I would tell my younger self is to be kinder to yourself. Using running as a punishment is the fastest way to ruin a life-changing sport. Whenever I was playing soccer, I guess, some background, I played soccer for a large portion of my life. And whenever I played soccer, our coaches always used running as a punishment. They called it conditioning. And every single time that I heard the word conditioning, like I just got sick to my stomach. I was like, I physically can't do this. But that kind of fueled this idea that running should be a punishment. You should be running to earn your meal. You should be running to get better at your sport. You should be running because you weren't good enough at your sport, like your key sport, not running in itself. And I think that I carried and internalized this idea that like running is like a way to like be hard on yourself, to take things out on your body or whatever it is, and that's not what it should be about. You certainly can do that, but I would not recommend it in any way, shape, or form. But I think like I would go back and tell myself to be kinder to myself, to give myself empathy, to focus on what my body can do instead of what it can't do or what I'm perceiving it not being able to do, and just focusing on enjoying the journey, enjoying what you can learn, enjoying from everything that you can positively get out of running instead of focusing on punishing myself.
Yeah, I love that. And what we just spoke about individually, like my topic on not every mile is made the same, and your topic on being kind to yourself, I think it also relates, because if you complete a race and you don't hit your goal, and then for the next 3 months you are down on yourself, beating yourself up during your training because you're just thinking about the past, you're thinking about your quote-unquote failures, how you might title it, to yourself.
Yeah.
Those miles are not going to be the same as if you may have not hit your goal, but you're in really good spirits about the sport and you're just optimistic about your future and knowing that you have time. I think it's so important, because the best way to get sick of running and to not want to be in the sport is to be a negative Nancy about your shortcomings and things not going your way, because that's not how life works, and it's certainly not how running works. But if you can reflect on, okay, like, I didn't accomplish this, but I still finished. I still, ran my second best time ever. Maybe it wasn't my best, but it was still a damn good race. It's just so much of a more sustainable approach to be able to run for life. So I appreciate that one quite a bit.
Yeah, of course. What's your next one?
Yeah, let's take a look here. Okay, this is a personal one, but I would say there's probably people out here who could, who might appreciate this or might need to hear it. At the end of the day, when it comes to your health, your nutrition, and your choices, I'm not someone to tell anyone what they should and shouldn't do. But I can certainly tell myself what to do and what to not do. And looking back, I would say that overuse of alcohol, combining that with high intensity, high endurance, long training when it comes to running, you might not see any sort of disaster for a while, but eventually something negative in your life can happen as a result of it. And I was someone who probably for a good 4 to 5 years of my running, I mean, I've never considered myself like an alcoholic or anything like that, but I was definitely drinking more than a doctor would recommend. And I certainly had my nights where I got a bit carried away. And after doing specific races and, drinking a lot, it's a horrible way to recover. It's a really good way to be hard on yourself and negative about your training. And it honestly resulted in some negative side effects for me that I'm not going to get too deep into. But let's just say it's really hard to manage stress, manage anxiety when you are drinking alcohol and you are running. Running itself dehydrates you a ton. It is very hard to drink enough water and have enough electrolytes when you're running 60, 70 miles a week during a peak marathon training. I'm not saying everyone here is doing that, but if you are and you want to combine alcohol into the recipe, it's really tough. Now, if you're someone who, wants to live that sort of life and you're just running a couple days a week, you're not going super hard, hey, maybe it fits in a little better. I'm not saying this is an all or nothing approach by any means, but just from experience, if you are trying to maximize your limits and become the best runner that you want to be, having more than a drink or two in a single night throughout your training block, I personally think is a recipe for disaster eventually. Do you have any thoughts on that?
Yeah, I mean, I personally don't drink much alcohol, if any at all. It is it does a lot of negative things on your body. If I'm already, putting my body through hell for training, I don't need to add fuel to the fire by drinking alcohol. I, am a big fan of like getting a non-alcoholic version of drinks. I'll certainly have a drink every now and then, although I've recently just not been drinking at all and I've been liking it. But I think, I just think you're already doing enough. Like, you're already doing enough to put stress on your body. I don't think the alcohol really is helping anything. I know that there are a lot of people out there who will try and promote, like, oh, I can do both. Like, I can rave until like 3 a.m. and then I can go run. And it's like, you can, but like, should you? Maybe not. I'm not the one to tell you what you can and can't do with your body or with your life. But I mean, you probably feel quite a bit better if you got more sleep and were a little bit more hydrated going into that run.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that a lot of people would probably agree with.
For sure.
But yeah, I just don't. I personally just don't think it's worth all the additional stress that it causes on your body. Impacts sleep, impacts dehydration levels, impacts tons of things.
Yeah. And I think like something that I used to do a lot is like after a big marathon, like the day or two after the race, I'd be like, oh, I gotta celebrate. I gotta go out and like, have shots and like a handful of drinks. Yeah, shots. Colleen never saw the shots version of Sam, but back in the day, early 1800s, that was a thing.
Shots after a marathon?
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah. And that is just not the move. Now, I would say, like, if you want to, like, after training build, do that, like, give your body, like, a week to recover, and then go on, like, a trip or do whatever, and, like, if you want to do that, great. And that's, like, how I would personally approach it if I wanted to, like, drink like that again. But just so close to a race, I mean, it's a slippery slope. And I'm just saying from, like, personal experiences and trauma. So, all right, we can move on. What do you got?
You're like, enough about me.
Yeah.
So then I think my next thing that I would say, going on similar themes, not regarding alcohol, but just eating more. Like, I would recommend to my former self, eat more. Food is fuel. Life isn't about being as thin as possible. And I think that goes back to the kindness thing, right? Like, I used to, like, be on these runs, and it was back whenever I wasn't tracking how long I was running, but in hindsight, I was probably running like 12, 13, 15 miles, just like casually, without fueling, without taking like water, like, it was not great, not good. I would just go out and run for long periods of time, and I would come back and I'd be like, just so exhausted, like so physically, like, I can't do this, like, there's just like 100% sun exposure. And then I'm mentally telling myself, like, you can only have like ice cream if you run from here until your dorm without stopping. That's the only time that you'll be able to get ice cream or whatever it is. And it was so stupid because, like, also I had just been out running for probably 2 hours. Like, I needed that. I just needed calories at that point. And instead in my head, I'm like trying to bargain this whole system of like, I can only do this if I succeed here. I can only get this food if I do this physical activity. I haven't earned this food or whatever it is. And that's not how it is, right? Like, that's not a healthy relationship with food. At least I certainly did not view it to be. And so, I think there's a fine line to walk whenever you're trying to, enjoy things in moderation, enjoy being able to run whenever it is. But I certainly think that I needed to eat a lot more whenever I was younger, especially whenever I was running.
Yeah, the nutrition game is tough, but you got to find what works for you and what's sustainable at the end of the day is my recommendation there. But I give you credit for figuring that out.
Thank you.
It's like not easy to like have that realization, and I know there's a lot of people out there who are always phasing in and out of different things when it comes to eating, but since I've known you, you've been like very, very consistent, which I think has like just been really beneficial for you. So
Thank you.
yeah, well, moving forward, my next one here is running consistently and balanced improves every part of your life. That's a hot take. That's an opinion. I don't have science or research to prove that to you, but all I can tell you is, as we figured out at the beginning of this episode, I've been running for 18 years, and there have been periods in my life where I've taken extensive periods off, and then there has been most of my life where I have been consistent, going after some sort of goal, or just having running as a way to stay in top-notch physical, mental shape. And when it is a part of my life, good things just tend to happen. I end up meeting great people. Colleen and people who came on my podcast and different individuals have been super impactful and positive in my life and my self-growth. I am someone who, at a younger age, struggled a lot with ADD and just paying attention in the classroom setting. And even in my corporate positions, that can sometimes be a challenge. But when I'm running consistently, my cognition, my focus, my daily energy levels are just so much higher. And it has benefited me quite a bit as far as my overall academic, at the time, career success now. And then it's just been a way for me to stay consistent with fitness. And, when I go to the doctor, they always have good things to say. And I can assure you, if I wasn't running, unless I was doing something else where I was exerting as much effort and working out as much, those results wouldn't be as good, right? And so, yeah, I can't think of a single area of my life that it has been a bigger negative than positive. Everything has its pros and cons, right? Like there's a lot of sacrifices that come with the sport. I'm someone who struggles with asthma. I've had some scary moments as a result of running. But I think all in all, like I would go through all the stuff that I have gone through that's negative, as long as I could keep running my life the way I have. And that's why I said balanced and consistent. Most of the time where I get myself into trouble with running, it's when I get to the point of overtraining, doing too much, being too hard on myself, getting overly competitive, looking at what other people are doing too much, not following the right training regimen, not doing the right amount of recovery, undereating, overeating, all those different things, drinking too much, whatever it might be. But if I am balanced and I'm consistent and I'm following the process and I'm listening to the coaching advice that I'm getting or that professionals out there are giving, almost everything else in my personality and my physical well-being goes in the right direction. So yeah, I'll never quit running as long as these two legs are legging it out.
Well, Sam, you said that you didn't have evidence to support that, but there's actually tons of evidence that shows that
There you go.
exercise, not specific to running, although I'm sure there is research for
It's
running
out
specifically, but exercise is one of the best things for you to do for your cognitive health, for your mental health, for overall health. Basically, if it's good for your body, it's good for your brain. In all of the ways, whether it be cognitively, so thinking, whether it be mood, mental health wise, because there are a lot of positive benefits, right? It gets a lot of good oxygen to your brain, it gets a lot of nutrients to your brain, you feel good, you feel accomplished, there are a lot of endorphins that are released whenever you're running and whenever you're exercising and afterwards, lots of things that just make you feel good. And then whenever you're starting to feel confident, whenever you're not being too hard on yourself, that also helps as well. So there's tons of evidence that backs that up. So I'm happy that you spoke on that.
Yeah, I love that. And, I think, like I said, I've been running for 18 years, and most of my life I have been running. But the reason why I'd want to tell my younger self that is because on those hard days where it's cold out or I'm tired or there's other social plans to do, and maybe I didn't run or I went into that run with a negative mindset, just this lifelong journey that I have, it provides so much discipline for me today where like I'm never gonna like, unless I have like an injury or like a true reason, I'm never gonna miss like a workout just because like I don't feel like it, because I've gone through this motion. But I just wish at like a younger age, when I may have taken like a little bit longer time off from the sport, I would have been able to appreciate that a little bit more. And so if you're listening to this and you're like thinking, hey, I want to get started on running, it's too late. I don't think it's ever too late to do it, but just understand the life that I've had with the sport, what it's done for me, it can start doing that for you as soon as you get started and onward. So I think that's super cool about it.
Yeah.
Cool. All right, what do you got next?
My next thing is perhaps less inspiring, but still very pertinent. Always wear sunscreen. I am such a pale person, but skin cancer runs in my family. I think it's really important to protect your skin. Your skin is the largest organ in the human body. And, you know, it's really important that you're protecting what you're exposing to the elements on a daily basis. Especially whenever we ran out in Colorado, that was really, really important there with the UV. I mean, I feel like I haven't seen the sun in like 48 days here in Cleveland, but like I'm still wearing sunscreen, so still wear the sunscreen, because yeah, skin cancer can get you. It also just helps provide an extra barrier, helps add a little moisture too, typically. So yeah, far less inspiring, but still very important for your overall health, especially because as runners we spend a lot of time outside, and there has a hopefully it's not like continuing to be the trend, but like there has been a long-standing, like people will be like, yeah, like you look at runners and they just like don't look well, like their skin is leathery, and I'm like, well, they're not wearing sunscreen. Like it's not all runners, I promise. I probably look like I don't even step foot outside for most of the year. It's because of sunscreen.
And now time for a sponsor, Sunscreen by Colleen.
Right.
That could be a good.
Hey, Sunbum, please feel free to reach out.
Sunscreen by Colleen.
That's the
Screen Colleen. It rhymes.
Uh-huh.
So my next one, which to be honest is something that I am working on right now doing more of, but like throughout my life.
It's okay. It could be a day younger.
Yeah, a day younger. Something throughout my life that I don't always do, but when I do it, I'm always happy about it, and it always makes me a better runner, which is to run with people who are better than you. So we moved out to Cleveland, Ohio about 6 months ago after 2 years in Denver. When we were in Denver, I was part of a competitive running group where I coached, but also was a participant in the group. It was a great opportunity to run with people who were better than me, and that definitely helped me improve as a runner. And then when I was living in New York, there was a lot of different running clubs, and it was so easy to find people who were runners that were better than me, and it helped me improve quite a bit while I was in New York. Since we moved to Cleveland, Ohio, been traveling a lot, getting situated, and truth is there's just not as many running clubs or that community presence where we are specifically situated in Cleveland. I know they're out there though, so it's like something that probably this spring we're going to try to get more involved into. But the truth is, like, when you run with other people, not only does it help set you up for success during that race day when there's going to be people that you're running with, it's going to be a more vibrant atmosphere than a solo run in a quiet park on a snowy day like I did earlier today. But there is certainly mental factors that come into play as far as adrenaline goes when you're doing a speed workout and you're going face to face with someone who you're not sure who's better, right? You have pretty similar times, and maybe their PR is like a minute faster than you in the marathon, and you're trying to go ahead and get better than that person, right? I think a lot of these running clubs and organizations are more meant to be together with people and build relationships, and that's super important. But I do think, like, if you are trying to become the best version of yourself when it comes to performance and running with people who are better than you is super helpful. And, you know, I think I tell myself this because when I was in high school, we didn't have like the most talented group of folks. And when I became a junior when I came to the distance running team, I had the best times on the team. I'm not trying to like brag, but I do wish that I would have gone out of my way to find runners on the weekend from other schools who would have ran with me to help me become better, because I wish I would have also done this like literally every summer. But I don't know if they still do it, but Nike, they hosted summer running camps, and I went for a week at SUNY Cortland in upstate New York. And there was obviously, since it's a running camp, there was a lot of people who were better than me. But like, those are like some of the best runs that I had ever gone on. I was like talking to the coach, and he was like, yeah, like your times are definitely way faster than, like, they should be way faster than they are. And like, you know, I just like was crushing it there. But it was like the first time in years that I had ran training wise with people who were better than me. And so, yeah, I don't know, it's a good memory, but I would just say, like, if you're someone that likes to run by yourself, nothing wrong with that, no disrespect. But if you do want to elevate your talent and have someone push you and give you more energy, find someone who is at similar ability or better than you. Join a running club, or whatever that might be for you. So,
yeah, I think that that's great. As someone who I do enjoy running by myself a lot, but I do run with others. Shout out to Danielle, who is far better at running than I am. But I do think that it's good. I do think that it is beneficial to kind of tap into a little bit of a competitive spirit whenever you're training. I think that it also allows you to just kind of like feel as though you have someone to hold you accountable whenever you're doing those workouts. You also have someone to check in if something goes wrong whenever you're pushing yourself too. So I think that there are a lot of benefits for having someone there.
Yeah, and it doesn't have to be every day.
Mm-hmm.
If it's just during the 1 or 2 speed workouts you're doing per week, or maybe you just do it once a month, it's going to be great. It's going to really help you out quite a bit. So, yeah.
Yeah.
All right, what do you got next, Colleen?
Yeah, so my last one is don't give up on competitive running. It's okay to not be the fastest person around. Stay focused on the joy you find in the sport and the fulfillment you get from pushing yourself. I would certainly tell myself this whenever I was like a little freshman cross-country runner. I think this would have been the ideal intervention point for all of this, honestly. Like, fix the hole in your heart, don't give up on running, eat more. Like, all of this, I think, could be really helpful to little baby cross-country Colleen. But, you know, after running cross-country, I quit. Basically at the start of the second year that I was going to join it, I was just like, I'm not good, it's not great, I hurt, like, this is not ideal. I had gotten dead last. So the complete opposite of Sam, in which he was like the best person on his team, I was definitively the worst person on my team. I came in dead last at a cross country meet one time, and I was like, there's no way that like this will ever be my thing. Like, it's not possible. And whenever I had like dabbled into running off and on, whenever I was, you know, in college, I guess in grad school, I was like, I'm still in college. But whenever I was dabbling into running into that, it never occurred to me to enter like a race really until I was out in Colorado. And so that is something that I think like, I guess like it would have been nice to have had more instances of like competitive running along the way. Because I find like a lot of joy in like being in race settings. I think it's really fun. You get to meet a lot of fun people, a lot of cool people. I think like in the back of my mind, I was like, it didn't even occur to me that like people signed up to these things past like high school. I don't know. Like it just didn't click that would still be a thing that people do. And so I would just say to not give up on that, to keep trying, to keep focusing on being better in whatever way that means, and to just focus on you.
Yeah. And as you get older, you can still be competitive and still want to get better, even if it's not a quicker time, right?
That's why I think ultras are so popular as people age too, because like you can go, the goal is no longer to be like as quick as possible, but to see how long you can run.
Yeah. But there's also the benefit of different age classes and like comparing yourself. Okay, like when you look at my current marathon time or 5K time, I am within the top 50% of runners for that specific time globally, right? Just an example. But then let's say 10 years down the line, you go from being 39 to 49. Let's be real, just the science backing it. If you are like at like your peak potential at 39, you're probably not going to get better at 49 faster times for like a race like a 5K, for example. But maybe you can be quicker compared to your age group than you were when you were 39. So you're improving based on the comparable group of people that you're running with, right? And that can be a sign of getting better. And that's why I think it's great what they do with like masters runners or what have you. But like, I think having a goal is so important. And like, that goal doesn't always have to be like, oh, I need to be faster and faster and faster for like this distance. It can be very unique in the sport. There's probably a lot of goals I don't even know about that exist that people have that are super cool. So I love that.
Yeah.
Cool. And closing things out, my last piece of advice is that a running coach is a very important thing that everyone should at least consider. I'm a running coach, so I'm biased towards that, but
you also have a running coach.
I have a running coach, so not only do I have people pay me for my service, but I pay someone for their services. And I used to not, and I think that was mostly based on having an ego of, oh, like, I can help people with this sport. Why should people wouldn't respect me if I'm also using a coach. Like I know how to get better. I know it's all like science and math and everything like that, but there's so much more to it. It's accountability. It's having that second voice. It is having new and innovative ways to do things and not always having to figure things out on your own. It can be very stressful to train for a race and have to train, figure out what you're doing, and then have to answer all your own questions by yourself. That's a lot to put on yourself, right? So a coach can be so many different things. It can just be someone that you talk to as things come up. It can be, someone who's online, who's making videos where you just watch their videos and their guides and read, maybe you read a book and that's like the way that you're getting coached. But like, be a constant learner to the sport. And if it is like a situation where you want someone who is meeting with you like daily, weekly, bi-weekly, monthly, whatever that is, to get that extra hand-holding and support, I think like the more help, the more opportunities that you have to learn to figure out more about yourself and the sport, the better off you will always be. And I just think that it has at least given me more like mental confidence, which I think will result in physical improvements. And, I've coached a lot of people and I've seen a lot of really cool things that people have done as a result of having someone be a direct influence and impact on putting together structure and being a sounding board. So, yeah. But if anyone is interested in running coaching, and this is the one ad and commercial that we do have in this podcast. I do personalized running plans where specifically you can reach out to me through social media or on my website. You can fill out a form. Happy to have a session where we just uncover the challenges, the goals that you have with your running, and I will from there be able to put together a plan on how we can help you get there. I'm taking on at least a few more clients, right now. And so if you are interested, let me know. I'm more than happy to support you. Or it is holiday season. Feel free to give someone the gift of a coach. If you know someone out there who is beginning their running journey and they want a coach and they don't want to pay for it themselves, well, I think that's one of the best gifts you could get, right?
Certainly.
Certainly. Well, that's all I got here, Colleen. Anything that you got in a recap of the episode?
No, I think this was really fun. This was a great idea, Sam.
I appreciate it. But yeah, we appreciate your listening. If you felt like this episode was impactful for you, giving it a like, leaving 5 stars, sharing with a friend is always really helpful. Go out there, get your run in. Don't be hard on yourself. Continue to learn every day. And as always,
Don't forget to run brighter.
and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.